Why aren't governments just printing more money? When every government has tons of ink, paper, and printers, why not print enough money to eliminate poverty? It sounds so simple, right? Just print more, and everyone becomes rich. But in reality, it's far more complicated. If it were that easy, every country would have done it already, and poverty would no longer exist. Today, money isn't really about ink and paper. It represents value, often digital value. When a central bank prints new currency, it's not creating wealth. It's only increasing the amount of money chasing the same goods and services. And when that happens, prices rise, not prosperity. That's what inflation is. It's the silent killer of savings, and its worst victims are the poor who live on fixed wages. When prices go up but salaries stay the same, people can buy less than they used to. Meanwhile, the rich often hedge themselves through investments in stocks, assets, or real estate, staying one step ahead of the storm. To understand why printing can't solve poverty, you have to go back in time. In the early 1900s, every currency in the world was tied to gold. Governments could print only as much money as they had gold in their vaults. That was called the gold standard. It kept the system in balance. You couldn't cheat reality. Then came the world wars. Nations needed money to buy weapons, rebuild cities, and pay soldiers. So they printed, and gold flowed to the United States, which supplied most of the world's arms. By 1944, at the Bretton Woods Conference, countries agreed to a new system. Instead of gold, they would trade in US dollars, because the US held almost 80% of the world's gold. For a while, it worked. The dollar was as good as gold, literally exchangeable for it. But then America made the same mistake everyone does when the printing press starts spinning. During the Vietnam War, the US printed more dollars than it had gold to back them. In 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the gold link forever. From that day, money was no longer tied to anything physical. It became an idea, a promise backed only by trust. And that's where the illusion began. Every time a government prints money today, it's not creating wealth. It's borrowing from the future. It's saying, we'll pay for this later, but later keeps moving further away. Imagine this. A country prints tons of money and distributes it to everyone. Overnight, people have more cash. They rush to buy cars, phones, and houses. But the number of cars, phones, and houses hasn't increased. Only the money chasing them has. Sellers raise prices. Soon everything becomes expensive. The rich move their assets into gold and stocks. The poor find their savings worthless. This is how inflation silently steals from the poor. Thus, it's not a theory. In Zimbabwe, the government once printed so much money that a loaf of bread cost billions. In Venezuela, people carried sacks of cash to buy groceries. In Weimar, Germany, children played with stacks of worthless marks like toys. In each case, the printing press turned a crisis into a catastrophe. But why can't governments just print smartly? Because value isn't created by paper, it's created by work, production, and innovation. Real wealth grows when a nation produces more goods and services, not when it increases the number of zeros in its accounts. If you print money faster than you grow, your currency loses its worth. Every currency's value is decided by demand and supply, just like anything else in a market. If people and countries trust your economy, your currency stays strong. If they don't, it falls. In 1947, one US dollar equaled 1 Indian rupee. Today, it's over 80 rupees. Why? Because global demand for dollars has remained higher. The US produces, exports, and influences more than most nations. In global trade, countries buy goods from each other using currencies. To import oil or microchips, India must pay in dollars because sellers trust the dollar's stability. So India needs to hold dollars, creating demand for them. The higher the demand for a currency, the stronger it becomes. There are 3 kinds of exchange rates in the world. Floating exchange rate, decided freely by market demand and supply, like the rupee dollar rate. Fixed exchange rate, 2 countries agree to keep their currencies locked at a fixed value, like the US dollar and the Saudi riyal. Managed exchange rate, governments allow fluctuation within a controlled range. So, when you hear that the rupee has fallen or risen against the dollar, It simply means investors and traders are buying or selling one currency more than the other. It's not a random decision made by someone sitting in an office. It's the collective behavior of global markets. Now think about this. When India demonetized its 500 rupee and 1,000 rupee notes, they instantly became worthless. Same paper, same ink, but no government promise. Money is valuable only because a government backs it with trust. The moment that trust is withdrawn, it's just paper. That's the ultimate truth of modern money. It works only because we believe it does. Governments can't print trust. They can't print productivity. They can't print resources. Printing money without growth only creates more numbers, not more value. So why can't governments print unlimited money? Because money is not wealth. It's a reflection of it. You can multiply the mirrors, but not the reality they reflect. The real solution to poverty isn't in the printing press. It's in people, in innovation, education, production, and trade. In the end, when a government prints too much, it's not creating prosperity. It's quietly draining the value of what people already have. Printing doesn't make a nation rich. It just changes who becomes poor first.